Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Girls Gotta Talk podcast. I'm like already out of breath. I haven't even said anything, and I'm out of breath. Setting up tonight, for some reason, was like, it felt like I've never done it before. It was the ultimate struggle. The camera was a whole situation for me tonight. If you're watching this, I'm so sorry. Looking at it, I feel like it's going to fall over and it's like totally lopsided. I don't know what is going on. It better not fall over because I will be dead meat, but it looks crazy to me, but it's normal. It's set up how it should be. I don't know. I'm going to try not to make eye contact, not going to lie, with the camera because it's making me very, very nervous. I almost didn't think I was going to set up today. I thought this might have been another week of just audio. I was planning on not putting it on YouTube. It was just going to be on streaming platforms. And yeah, but here we are. Honestly, I don't know if this is better. I feel like I'm sideways. I don't know if it's how it is on like the actual visual, but I'll have to see in editing. If it is, I'm so sorry. And then I set up, and I almost forgot to set up like the big light I have on when I do record at night. This is a new one for me. It is currently 10:30 p.m. And I just set everything up, and yeah, I literally showered and everything. I took JJ to a little beach tonight. It was super fun. It was like a little after sunset, but like, you know what, it's like technically it was like past sunset, but it's still like light out. So we didn't get there until like after 7 or something, and almost 7:30. We were there for about an hour, and I had to come home, give him a bath because he had sand everywhere. He loved playing in the sand, which I actually love. I love that so much for both of us because I took him to like my favorite spot in the world, and the fact that he will just sit there and play makes me so happy. He was walking around in the sand all by himself. I took off his shoes and just had him walking around in his socks because I was like, worst case, A, you're not going to get sand all over your shoes and you won't track it everywhere. B, when we leave, I could just take off your socks. And if you have to be barefoot, like, you have to be barefoot. Like, it is what it is. I was trying to think of smart ways to do this. I don't really have, like, water shoes or, like, Crocs or anything for him, or anything he could wear to the beach that'll just make it 10 times easier to like clean out. But we made it work. I thought it was good in the meantime, but yeah, it was super fun. So we came home, took a bath. I took a shower because I felt disgusting and felt like I had sand all over me, even though I was just trying to sit there and chill, and he was just throwing sand. But I was like, you know what, you're a kid, have the time of your life with that sand. So I just felt super gross. Now I still like feel kind of gross because I just took a shower and I'm already sweating after setting that up. But anyways, if you're watching, also don't come at me for saying that I'm sweating, but I'm sitting here in a hoodie and a blanket. It's too hot to put on like leggings, so I am wearing shorts, but because I also wear this hoodie, I swear, in every episode that I record, I swear I wash it. I promise you I wash it. It's literally just my favorite hoodie that I own, and I love it so much that I just wear it all the time. So because this hoodie is like super big on me, sitting here when I was about to actually record before, it literally looked like I was wearing no pants. And I guess since I'm wearing a blanket, I probably could have just put on pants, but I didn't want to. I just decided to sit here in a blanket. So I am wearing shorts and a sweatshirt, but on camera it didn't look like I was wearing shorts. It looked like I was honestly just wearing a sweatshirt, and if this goes up on YouTube, like, that probably just isn't gonna go well. It's not gonna fly. So I didn't risk it. So here we are, currently sweating, but it's okay because after I'm done with this, in editing and everything, I'm probably going to turn the AC on in this apartment, and it'll hopefully cool down by the time I go to bed, and we'll be good. But yeah, so with that being said, yeah, out of breath, sweating, it's fine. We're just going to start this episode. I want to put out an apology to you guys about how last week's episode had a function. You had to stare at like a logo on YouTube, and I tried to put it where there wasn't like a visual on Spotify. It was literally just audio, but every time I tried to upload it, it wasn't working. So they had to put the logo up as the visual video part on Spotify as well. But yeah, it was definitely interesting to, I don't want to say record, I guess, because I didn't know how close or how far I needed to hold my phone, because I spoke into my phone. If you're watching, like, I'll show you, like, I literally spoke into my phone like this. Like, I had it right under my mouth, and I didn't know how close or how far. If you're an audio listener, I'm so sorry for that. You probably have no idea what's going on. But just, like, imagine you holding your phone upside down. So, like, the speaker and the part you put your charger in is just right under your mouth. That's how I sat for, like, however long the episode was. I think it was only, like, a half hour. But I sat there for a half hour like that, which is really weird because if you also watch these episodes, I could probably pass for an Italian with how much I talk with my hands. Isn't that an Italian thing? I don't want to be like... Should I have said that? Is that weird? I swear that's like Italian. They talk with their hands. Isn't that a thing? I'm so sorry if it's not, but I've always been told that's like an Italian... I don't know what it is, but... Anyways, I talk with my hands a lot. So I was very nervous to sit there because I was nervous that I was going to like move my hands a lot and like mess up the audio or like not realize that I moved my phone because I'm talking with my hands and haven't talked into the mic for X amount of time. So I was really nervous. I didn't know how it was going to go. I also... like even with this, like when I'm holding the microphone, like I'll switch hands to move stuff around, and I was like, I feel like sitting there like a statue trying to make sure I recorded it right, make sure it was at least decent. I knew I probably could have edited the audio in like editing. I put everything in DaVinci Resolve, which is the editing software that I use, and I knew I could have done something to either not be so loud or like adjust the audio so that way it wasn't crazy and you guys could have listened to it fine. I know there was probably a lot of like pops with like my P's or like S's were drawn out, but I don't have anything like in my phone or on my phone like this cover I have over the mic to kind of reduce that stuff a little bit. So I do apologize. I'm hoping it was still kind of okay, but here we are. Like I said, I thought this episode was gonna be another audio one. I'm kind of glad it's not, but like I said, this camera's kind of giving me uneasy vibes, but we're just kind of going with it. So yeah, welcome to another episode. Streaming platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, anywhere you stream your podcast, or we are here on YouTube, Girls Gotta Talk Podcast. Come subscribe, join the fam over here. We'd love to have you, and welcome if you are new here. I was kind of thinking about this earlier, that this episode and last week's episode have been a complete 360, where like last week I was talking about emotional roller coaster. I was up, I was down, I was in, I was out, like every possible thing you can imagine, like is how I was feeling. This week I've still been super stressed, I'm not gonna lie. I don't feel like stress will leave my body until everything going forward like works out in my favor. I feel like that makes me seem kind of psycho, not gonna lie. Like for me, I'm like, wow, like hearing myself describe how it's been, like I sound crazy. But there's just been a lot going on. A lot of, honestly, apartment hunting is super, super stressful. And I wanted to get into that Actually, we'll just start the episode off like that. So this episode was going to be like unspoken struggles of or like in your 20s. I saw this somewhere, probably Instagram, and I was like, wow, like there's a lot of things you could probably bring up that no one will tell you about or no one will talk to you about and no one mentions. And you just kind of, it comes up and you're like, what the heck? I was not expecting this to happen. I feel like one of the things is definitely like when you're moving out of either your parents' place or like somewhere you are living and you want to find somewhere else to live, you're moving to a different state, you're moving to a different town, any type of moving situation, apartment hunting, even I feel like looking for a house with everything going on right now is kind of crazy. But I mean, don't talk to me about market. I couldn't tell you. Right now, I feel like it's kind of rough. There's nothing out there for apartment-wise. Houses, I couldn't tell you. Apartment right now, crazy. Apartment hunting is the most stressful thing on the face of the earth. Crazy. I have a potential one that could be happening, but I had so many, both pros and cons, that I've been like back and forth in my head all weekend. It's been stressing me out like no other. I started contacting families and friends just to hear their side, just to hear if like my pros and cons are even like valid, if I should even be thinking of half this stuff, if I should do it or not. I called my dad the other day. I was going back and forth with him. I recently contacted a couple friends. I was talking to them. I'm still confused. I still don't know what to do, if I'm being honest. But I don't have that long to decide. So it's going to be like a spur of the moment, like, yeah, or a spur of the moment, like, no. But yeah, it's been a bit stressful lately. I'm not going to lie. I've been going super crazy trying to figure this whole situation out. But yeah, first thing I would say right off the bat is I might just be because it's what I'm going through right now. If you don't know, I'm still in my 20s. I have a few years left. I'm currently 27, turning 28 in September. So I have a few more years left in my 20s before we hit the big 3 O's. Or 3-0. I don't know why it's not plural. But the big 3-0 and then living in the 30s. But yeah, so this is kind of some things that I have dealt with in my 20s. Honestly, I feel like most of this stuff has been recent, but still from turning 20 till now, like I said, almost through the 20s, but not quite. But I would say right off the bat, apartment hunting. Stressful. I'm also a type of person that leaves everything till last minute, so that probably hasn't been the biggest helping factor for me right now. But anyways, next thing I had was family expectations. No one mentions to you. Honestly, I don't want to navigate this straight to your 20s. This is honestly whenever you have a child, whether you're younger, older, in your 30s. I'm going to list this for in my 20s because I did have a kid in my 20s. I had my son when I was 25. So for me, it was my 20s. Family expectations. When you have a child, raising your child, I get it. Obviously, your parents have done it before, so it's like they kind of want to tell you how to do it. I feel like everyone is going to raise their child differently, like how my parents raised me. Not saying that they didn't raise me right or in a good or bad way. They raised me just fine. I'm doing, I guess, just fine, you could say. Personal opinion. But I don't think I use some of the tendencies my parents used for some things. I don't want to pinpoint anything right now. I can't think of anything, but I'm just saying, like, if I had to actually dig deep and explain some things, I don't think I use like every tendency that my parents used raising me and my brothers on my son. not in any bad way. Like, I'm not saying like they did this, I didn't like it, so I'm gonna change it type of thing. I don't know. I just feel like as you're growing up and you're raising your own kid, obviously my kid is not gonna be like me or my brothers. Like, he's a whole different human being. He was raised in a completely different area. Like, it depends on where you grow up. It depends on who you grow up around. It depends on obviously parents. Like, every parent has their own different specific ways that they either want things done or want their child raised. But I feel like, I don't know, like, family expectations are super hard. I feel like a lot of people feel like they have to live up to their family's expectations, which I feel like you don't. I will say that right now. So sorry. But you do not. How you want to live your life and how you want to raise your kids is completely up to you, in my opinion. I feel like also with like work, obviously like your parents and yourself are obviously from different generations. So I feel like depending on the generation, they look at a lot of things differently compared to how they grew up, compared to how we or how you are growing up, depending on generations as well. They see things as, they see like normal things, I feel like, different than how my generation and generations after me, I guess. There might even be, no, I don't know if there's one before me. I honestly don't even know the whole generations thing. There probably is like one between me and my parents, but I don't know, to be honest. But yeah, I feel like family expectations is definitely something that is an unspoken struggle in your 20s. You just think you're kind of going with it, trying to make your family happy, trying to make your parents happy, your grandparents happy. But I just say, like, just kind of live life. Just kind of do what you want to do. And I don't know, like, you will figure it out along the way. It's obviously a whole different part of life, but you'll figure it out. The next thing I had was falling out of friendships and or type of situation, finding friends. I feel like as you're going through high school and even college, you feel like you just find those friends that you're going to have for like a lifetime, which granted, some people do. Total props to you. I have a few friends from high school that I definitely still talk to. Do I talk to everyone I was like best friends with in school? No, we have all like drifted apart. I feel like it's one of those things where it's like, if I did contact them, like a couple of them, and was like, hey, what's up, like type of thing, it's not like we wouldn't talk. Like, we would probably talk, catch up, all that. But I only have like a couple that I still talk to on almost a daily basis. Some that I talk to every now and again. Some I haven't talked to in years, but like I said, it's, if we met each other randomly in like a grocery store or something, we'd probably be talking for hours, like catching up about life and everything. Falling out of friendships does happen. I don't want to say is going to happen, because obviously it doesn't make sense. It does happen. It happens kind of unexpectedly. Like I said, you kind of sit there expecting to be friends with these people for literally your whole life, but not that it's like good or bad. It just kind of happens. People live life differently. They go different ways in life, different jobs, different states, different just ways of life, that sometimes it just doesn't happen to where you guys keep in touch or talk all the time or like things like that. My problem now actually would be the whole finding friends part. I live in a town where I did not grow up. I did not go to school in this town. I work in this town. So I make friends and talk to a lot of people, or like know a lot of people from work. But it's not like I have friendships from school or friendships from like growing up in this town. I didn't grow up far from here, but I didn't grow up here, if that makes sense. I feel like the first time I moved out of my hometown, I didn't want to say I was miserable, but I didn't know what to do. So when I moved from my hometown, I had already graduated high school. Honestly, like a year. When did I move? My brother was a sophomore. So that means it was 2014. No, 2015. 2014. 2015. I don't know. If it was 2014, I had just graduated high school. So I was out of school. We moved. My brothers both went to the high school up in the town that we had moved to. So they were still in school. They were still making friends up there. Both my brothers did sports. So they had a lot of connections on making friends. I moved up there, like I said, already done with school. I didn't start working until a year after I graduated high school. So in the meantime, like I wasn't working for part of it up there. I wasn't working. So I wasn't going to school and I wasn't working. And I'm also not a very like social person, if I'm being honest. I'm a very, very, very like 100% introvert. I will keep to myself. I would even say like 8 times out of 10, I'd rather be by myself. Obviously, yeah, I want to go out and have fun and see people, honestly, mostly that I'm comfortable with, but I'm not just going to go out at like something I hear about and show up and try to make some friends, which obviously at that point, that's my fault. Yes, but I don't know. It's weird. So it's kind of in the same situation as I am now. I only know people down here through Julian because he grew up down here. So did I meet people through him? Yes. It's one of those things where it's like some people are just people you know, not necessarily like friends with. Like you're friendly, but not friends, if that makes sense. I also did work in surrounding towns down here. So I do know people through that live either close surrounding or in this town. I do hang out with some people that I have met down here. But again, some of the people that I do know down here, it's just friendly, not friends type of situation, which again, 100% could be my fault. Am I okay with it right now? Actually, kind of. Like, I'm not going to lie. Am I going to be the type to want to go out all the time? Absolutely not. Like, my social battery is not that charged. Absolutely not. If I went out for a night, I would probably have to come home and like recharge myself for like a week before I even thought about trying to be in like a social gathering again. So I don't know. It depends on if you're introvert, extrovert. I know a lot of extroverts would probably like be out and about trying to find social cues to be going and finding friends if they were in like a situation like mine. I know I'm the complete opposite, but I feel like no one tells you. I don't want to say how uncomfortable it is, but how like weird it is and how you actually have to like think about life and how to go about trying to meet people your age now that you're almost in your 30s. Well, for me, almost in my 30s, trying to find new friends. I feel like once my son starts school and does sports, like I'll be talking to parents all the time. I talk to some that I pass here and there through his daycare and all this stuff, but I know when he gets into like elementary school, definitely in high school, I'll probably meet some parents. By then I'll probably be like almost 40, but it's okay. I actually can't wait for those times. But for now, we're just kind of living life, if I'm being honest. The next thing I have is kind of at my own, like I'm throwing bullets at myself, time management. My time management, I will say, is god-awful. I have no time management, if I'm being completely honest. My time management is just not a thing. I don't know how to do time management. I need a time management course. That is something they should teach you. No, they probably shouldn't teach you that in school, but they should have taught me that in school because in school I was like never on time for class. I was never on time for school. Outside of work or outside of school, like now living life, I'm never on time for work. I'm never on time. Like if you need me to be somewhere, you should probably tell me like an hour or so earlier than the time I should actually be there. That way I actually show up on time. That is how I see myself. which obviously 100% my fault. I definitely have to fix it for myself, but my time management is awful. And I feel like now that I'm quote unquote like by myself, like not in my parents' house, they were always like rushing, trying to yell at you, get you ready, trying to be like get you where you have to be on time. And now I'm like, I probably should have taken some notes because that it's not a thing for me. Like, I'm so sorry to anyone I like interrupt with my timer and everything, but I know I will not be on time. I get in a lot of trouble. I got in a lot of trouble at school. I got in a lot of trouble at work. Like, I definitely get in trouble, and you would think I would learn by now, but I definitely need to fix that. Anyways, the next thing is, I feel like not even a struggle of your 20s. It's literally just a struggle like your whole life, no matter how old you are. I would say past the age of like 18 is constantly thinking about whether or not you're quote unquote on track with life. This one is a hard one because, like I said, everyone is going to be living life differently. It's crazy because I feel like all over social media, the people I follow, like influencer wise, YouTubers, are all either pregnant with their first, or there's a couple that I watch that are pregnant with their second. I could not imagine that right now, having my first. I don't want to say I don't want any more kids, but right now I cannot imagine another child. Props to them. Best wishes for them, but that could not be me right now. And a lot of people that I watch, actually a couple people that I even know, are all getting engaged. My best friend is getting married next year, which is super crazy to me. A couple of my other friends I went to school with are engaged or have gotten married, and I honestly think that's wild to me. I don't know why, but I think it's crazy. It's crazy to think about. You see people that are thriving with their jobs, and you're like, it's one of those things where you sit there and you're like, where did I go wrong that I don't have a job like that? Or where did I go wrong that I'm not living life like that? Which honestly, you can't really think about. Not everyone obviously went to school for the same thing. I probably wouldn't even know how to do anything in some of the careers that people I know or went to school with have right now. Obviously, that was just not my thing. It was not my way of life. Not that smart. So it's crazy, but you're literally are just kind of enjoying the ride. Like, you're enjoying the ride of life, and you're just, I don't want to say going with the flow, but you're doing what's right for you and just kind of making and living life out of what you're doing. If that makes sense. The next thing I have is kind of what I also just kind of explained, comparing yourself to other adults your age and what they're doing for work versus what you're doing, or how they're living life versus how you're living life. Kind of just intertwined both of those, but like I said, enjoy the ride, live life how you're living life, build your life how you're building your life, however it's taking you right now. Just kind of enjoy what you're doing, and honestly, you're doing what's best for you, and I think that's kind of all that matters. And the last thing I have, kind of still intertwining with the last two, is figuring out where you want to be in life. I know that's a really big thing, but I don't know. No one like talks about in your 20s, you're just they're just going to say that after college in your 20s, like by the time you finish college, you're going to be getting married and having kids, and life is just going to be there. Like, life, you're going to figure it out. You're going to be good by 30, 40. You're going to have already been like building your dream life. Not always the case, if I'm being honest, but I don't know, like, it's not like a good thing or a bad thing. Like I've been saying, you're going to hear it probably for the 10th time right now. Enjoy the ride of life, however it's taking you, however it's panned out for you, wherever you ended up, both living, who you're with, Career wise, it might not be what you had planned it to be, but make the best of where you're at, because from then on, you're just going to make it better. Honestly, you're just going to keep going up, and you're just going to be living your life how you should be living your life, in my opinion. But yeah, with that being said, that is all I have for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. I love you guys so much. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I'll see you next week back with a brand new episode. Bye.